And we're live. Welcome back to second round of the 2000s Pop Punk Bracket Challenge podcast. We are three brothers from the western suburbs of Chicago, joined by our special guest from the Big D, the man with the Big D, Tom, and my two brothers, Matthew and Kevin. How are we doing tonight, boys? What are we drinking?
Doing fantastic. I got a little White Claw, for all my people.
Finishing off my Bud Select King of the Beers and wearing my Guinness shirt because we still need a sponsor. So I'll sell out and whore myself out till we get one.
There you go. I'm going with Lone Star. It's the PBR of Texas.
God. Oh, God.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, we've had a few of those on a hockey trip.
Full case in the fridge, man.
Oh, God.
I'm going with classic local craft Two Brothers, their Wobble IPA.
Very nice.
All right, boys. Let's see if I can figure out to share my screen again. If I can, and I think I just exit out of the bracket, so that's not good.
Amateurs.
Back to the bracket.
I'll tell you what, I'm excited for tonight because there's going to be some controversy. I just know from my bracket alone, I know there's going to be some controversy. So can't wait.
There's one matchup in Tom Sharkey's bracket that I've been very excited for. A very tough matchup, and I'm looking forward to talking with my favorite people about my favorite genre of music. So,
all right, start sharing. Is my screen active?
Oh yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right. Where should we jump in? Should we go right for the West bracket here? Jump right in.
Yeah.
Tom, why don't you lead us off? So, for those of you that didn't catch the last podcast, we're basically doing a college basketball style 64-team tournament from 2000s pop punk. This was inspired by someone named Schwartz who made this bracket. Except for my bracket, the Midwest, everything else we kept as his format with his seats. And, we went through the first round, took us an hour and 15 minutes. So we got our round of 32 coming up here, and we're going to jump right into our West bracket. My main man Tom's going to lead us off with a 1-9 matchup between Blink-182, the 1 seed, going against Coheed and Cambria, the 9 seed.
Yeah, I'll say the same thing I did last week. How is Blink not going all the way? I think it's an easy one. Coheed, a lot of respect. Love Coheed, but it's Blink, it's the pop punk bracket.
Yeah, if this was an actual basketball game, I think this is like, Blink goes up 90-75, and then they end up winning, 95-85. Like, it's just better. I love Coheed, but they're better.
Yeah, this is all these matchups are a little easier to swallow and listen to this week than the previous week with some of the bands we had to listen to. But like you guys, I like Coheed. I don't like Coheed as much as you guys do. Still have always liked them, but yeah, this is Blink for me in a complete runaway.
Yeah, Blink's the obvious favorite here. Kind of like we did last week. I'll just say a few words about Coheed. They were from New York. They are unique. I think the only thing they beat out Blink-182 in it, honestly, is talent of their guitarist. And also probably one of the few bands that their lead singer actually has a higher pitched voice than Tom DeLonge. They have a unique sound. Their songs I really like are Welcome Home and The Suffering from 2005, and then A Favorite House Atlanta from 2003. Good band, but I think Blink is going to remain the clear favorites in this tournament. I don't know if anyone's going to give them a real challenge to at least maybe the Final Four, maybe even the championship before they're really challenged. So let's move on to our 12-4 matchup. The Hawthorne Heights came up with an upset last time over the Used. They're now facing probably a little better of a opponent this time in Panic at the Disco, the 4 seed. Tom, who you got in this matchup?
This is another easy one for me. I mean, Hawthorne, they're cool. I enjoy them, but Panic takes this one.
Any disagreements?
No.
Me, no.
No, yeah, I agree. Panic in a runaway.
Yeah, I would also go with Panic. It's impressive how Panic kind of even made a resurgence these days. I know this bracket's kind of concentrated in the early 2000s era, and Panic came out in like 2005. They came out real strong. They were kind of more classic pop punk with a little more of a poppy sound. Some of these other bands, and then they kind of dabbled in some like folk-like sounds, and now they're, making even more pop hits, and they're played on pop radio these days. And they kind of made a resurgence, at least in popularity and sales and stuff. Hawthorne Heights was kind of hit their peak in the early 2000s era with their kind of an emo sound. I still really enjoyed them back then. I haven't listened to them much lately, but just I don't know. I think this is also a pretty easy victory for Panic at the Disco. I mean, Hawthorne Heights barely snuck by the U's. I think they used, all their energy to get through that game, and they're just not going to be able to keep up with Panic in this, to me.
Didn't Panic start as like a Blink cover band?
Yeah, I think I read that somewhere.
That was like their roots. Yeah.
Way to set up the next week matchup, man. 1 versus 4. Panic started as a Blink cover band. Now they're playing Blink. Look at that, Sharky. That's called long-term booking in our business, folks.
It'll be a good one. It'll be a good one. I just, I think it's going to be hard for anyone to beat Blink-182, but we'll see.
Are we biased?
Now this, I think, as we were talking off the air, is the matchup of the week. We're going to get right into it here. This is number 6 Simple Plan going against number 3 Yellow Card. Tom, your pick here. You may decide this, because I have a feeling we're going to have some disagreement, a lot of good conversation.
Yeah, so right off the bat, my first choice, I went with Simple Plan. I'm a dick. I'm addicted. But I kind of went back and forth, man. I listened back to some old Yellow Card, and I really enjoyed it. It's been a while since I've listened to them. Like Way Away, a lot of those good old songs that I just hadn't heard in a while. It really kind of got me teetering back towards them. But I don't know. Pop punk, when I think of pop punk, I just think more of Simple Plan. They just got that kind of upbeat, light, I don't know, kind of sound. But this is a tough one. What do you guys got?
I mean, I'll go. I agree with you. I got Simple Plan here. It's a simple fact that they both have 2 great singles, right? So you have Ocean Avenue and you have I Do Anything, right? For me, it's like, okay, those 2 pretty much wash. I think Ocean Avenue actually might be a little bit better single, to be honest with you. But the Simple Plan's other songs I like more than Yellow Card's other songs. So that's what tipped the bracket for me in the favor of Simple Plan. Underrated song for me personally, I like Take My Hand. I really like that song. I think it's very pop punk. I think it's very energetic. I love it. They very much took inspiration from Blink-182 and all the other sort of pop punk bands that were out there. Yellow Card tried to do something a little bit different. They had a violin. It's like, okay, cool, you have a violin. But for this matchup, I got to take Simple Plan. Kevin, what do you think?
I actually agree with both of you. Ocean Avenue is the best song between these 2 bands. And you can make a case for Ocean Avenue being one of the top 5 songs of any band in this entire bracket. And Yellow Card is one of the best 16 bands in this bracket. But you stole my thunder. After I Do Anything versus Ocean Avenue, the secondary songs of Simple Plan are better than the secondary songs of Yellow Card, in my opinion. And I am a big Yellow Card fan, but my initial pick was Simple Plan. I flip-flopped after re-listening. Then I went back again this last night when I re-listened to my favorite albums of each band, and I was a bigger Simple Plan fan in the 2000s than I was Yellow Card. And that's not an anti-Yellow Card statement. That's more of a pro-Simple Plan statement. So for those reasons and the reasons that both of you have already touched on, I would also go with Simple Plan here in an upset.
Yeah, my gut reaction before going back and listening to some songs was actually similar to all you guys. It was Simple Plan, just because they've kind of been doing it longer, more consistently. In my head, I initially had this matchup as like, okay, Simple Plan, they strike out with they come in with I Do Anything, an early lead. Then Yellow Card comes back. They got this like sexy, like outside shooters hitting a bunch of threes. That's their violinist. They're coming in. They drop Ocean Avenue. They're getting out to a big lead. Crowds, starts getting behind them. The Simple Plan just keeps chipping away, and they come out, the victory in the end because they're just consistent. And whereas Yellow Card, I could see like their lead singer, William Ryan Keys, he's their point guard. He kind of starts to get an attitude. He's blaming his teammates. They end up falling apart on each other. It's kind of doing his own thing. But then I went back and listened to Yellow Card. I was close to picking them because their early stuff was better than I kind of remember it.
I'll agree with that.
3 album Ocean Avenue that not only had that song but Way Away and Only One. Even the 2006 album Lights and Sound featuring Lights and Sounds, Rough Landing Holly's very good. The 2007 album Paper Walls had a couple singles I really liked, and Fighting, and also Light Up the Sky. It's really after the 2010 where Yellow Card really disappointed me. I didn't really like anything after that. They went to kind of a slower sound and really didn't do much. And funny story, we saw William Ryan Key at a local venue in the western suburbs of Chicago, and we thought he was going to be playing either solo songs or songs of Yellow Card, and he was just DJing, drinking wine, and playing pop punk songs from every other band. And then of course he ended on his own song.
Side note, that was great though. It was again, we thought it was a live show of him doing an acoustic set, and it was him with another guy just DJing with a giant glass of wine and just playing like songs from every band in this bracket. So it turned like a bro fest, which is great. But yes, yeah, he looked a little sad, which made me sad.
Yeah.
But
I don't think he's doing that great with his solo career. I guess the other thing that I was reading about their band, he was like originally like their secondary like backup singer, like just kind of squeezed his way into the band initially, and then he became obviously the lead singer when they got popular. But in the early days, he wasn't even like a main member. So that was kind of interesting, but I think I'll agree with everyone. And I mean, Simple Plan gets the surprising sweep, but I think all of us agree that it's a close, exciting matchup. It's too bad that Yellow Card kind of couldn't live up to their initial hype. So I think then they would have, had a lot more force in this matchup. All right, so then to round out Tom's bracket, we have number 10 Census Fail that snuck by Boys Like Girls the week before, going against number 2 Brand New.
Yep. So this one at first was a little tough for me, is because I like both bands, and I actually started listening to both these bands right around the same time, I kind of remember. But I'm going with Brand New, and it's, Your Favorite Weapon to me is way more of a pop punky album. Some of their later stuff, they started getting kind of darker and weirder. Still good. I like it a lot. But Census Fail always had that heavier sound, kind of more emo. But I think just overall, Brand New for me is the winner here.
I sense we're not going to get too much disagreement. Anyone want to say anything about Census Fail? Do they have any chance in this matchup?
my senses tell me that they failed this matchup, and I have Brand New advancing.
Just think about when your senses fail. When does that happen? That'll tell you which way I voted.
When you die.
There you go.
Yeah. I mean, this is pop punk. Census Fail, I don't know if they would really even classify as pop punk. They were more kind of the emo screamo.
Yeah.
Not personal. I mean, it was good, and they didn't scream as much as some of the other bands we talked about last week that were eliminated. So I'll give them that. Not all their songs had screaming, and I do enjoy their music. I thought that some of their guitar work was really good. And back when I was kind of more emo in my high school days, I did listen to quite a bit of Census Fail. But like Tom said, Your Favorite Weapon is one of my favorite albums ever, and I still listen to it, and actually listened to it today during dinner. It was, and then they did get weird, but they're still, I think, overall much stronger band than Census Fail, so I'm going to go with them as well. So that rounds out our West Side bracket. Now we're moving on to the South here. This is Matthew's bracket, and I'm excited for this first matchup because we got some shade thrown against My Chemical Romance off the air. So I'm curious to see how they're going to do here in this 1-8 matchup.
Get ready. Get ready, ladies and gentlemen. Let me describe you two kids in high school, okay? One of which is okay with his life. He's trying to figure it out. He might like it. He just wants a good time, right? The other one is thinking about killing himself, and is living next to the bridge and thinking like, oh, life's never going to get better. Guess which kid likes My Chemical Romance? This guy, all right? No, My Chemical Romance loses this matchup. I cannot stand My Chemical Romance. The Black Parade is awful. It's awful. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Get it out of here. I hate it. AFI with the win. They had one single that I like, Girls Not Gray, but guess what? It makes me want to run and like live life. Everything that My Chemical Romance wants to put out makes me want to kill myself or choose to hang out with those kids in high school who like them. Guess what? I don't want to do either one of those things. So no, AFI wins. It's AFI. Don't argue. Go.
Disagree. Disagree with your choice, not what you said. Between these two bands, I prefer My Chemical Romance.
Why?
Just more my speed. I look, I get what you're saying, and I'm with you. You and I tend to agree the most. We don't like streamo emos. You need to just back up, man. You're my space. Now I have to go listen to Helena for a couple minutes. I'll come back. My gosh. No, I just MCR has more top. They're just they got more. This was a basketball matchup, 1 versus 8. MCR is a weak team, a weak band for a 1 seed, but they've got more bigger hits for me. They have more songs I like than AFI. The better players tend to win the game. The better songs tend to win the matchup. I pick MCR in this matchup.
Tom?
I don't have anything like a tenth as passionate to say as what was said by Matthew here, but
I will say none of you were in high school in 2009 or whenever the Black Parade came out.
Right? Try again. It wasn't that. No, Matthew. I'm gonna challenge flag. That did not come out in 2009. Challenge flag.
It was 2007 or 8, I believe.
That sounds about right.
At the latest 2007, because it was during my sophomore tour at Arizona State. It was. I typed in the wrong band. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Tom. We interrupted you. Matthew can't. He doesn't know his turn below.
Again, I don't have nearly as much to say about it. I never got super into either of these bands. I like them both, but just for the kind of like you were saying, Kevin, I think My Chemical Romance just fits the bill a little more with what we're discussing.
And by the way, Matthew, the Black Parade was 2006. So there you are, just making your argument have Swiss cheese holes in it. It was 2009.
When high school, 2000.
I wasn't in high school, but I was 1 year out. I was a freshman in college.
High school in 2006, I was.
Oh, my God. Okay. Oh, look at poor you.
What does that have to do with the pick of who's better? Because you're in high school?
Because there was kids who were depressed in high school. Because because Matthew, there's no kids emo and depressed in college. Right. At either of the colleges I went to. So, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Of course. I have to be the one that, torched this matchup and disagrees with Matthew, and he's going to really get pissed off now.
Whatever. What else is new?
I agree with
years.
I totally disagree with Matthew in terms of how bad he was bashing My Chemical Romance. They're not my favorite band ever, but I actually did enjoy Welcome to the Black Parade, both the album and the single. It's very different. I mean, that Welcome to the Black Parade is kind of like has this marching style and different tempos, and Teenagers is a very catchy song that came off that record. The earlier stuff was more emo. I thought Welcome to the Black Parade, it has like an emo title, but their songs are kind of a little more poppy and upbeat than the earlier stuff. But I can't see Matthew because I've got my screen share on. But
you're not missing much.
Good.
He's just fuming.
I will say this, okay? You can put My Chemical Romance out there. I'm going to say 2 things. One is that I don't think My Chemical Romance has a song that's better than Girls Not Gray. 1. 2 is that in 2008, when I graduated high school, we all got to pick a song to walk out to, and Jason William Myers picked a My Chemical Romance song. Look him up in DuPage County, Illinois, okay?
So don't do that to the fans listening. Famous Last Words is a better song, by the way.
Right.
Welcome to the Hurts is better than Girls Not Gray in my book. It's a very I enjoy that song a lot.
No, it's a good song. Famous Last Words is my favorite MCR song. I think that's better song. So
I'll get overridden. It's fine.
Well, the good news is, Matthew, they're gonna have a tough matchup next week for whoever wins this 4-5. So
That's true. This 4-5 honestly is a tough one. This is the first time I think where I looked and I was like, oh, I like both of these bands. Like I listened to both of these bands. These are both great. I think like in the end, it just came down to like almost the exact opposite of what I was saying before. With like Good Charlotte just has more songs that I like. Just I got to pick Good Charlotte. They had more hits for more years that I really liked. Alkaline Trio had a couple of good songs that I liked, but Matt Skiba got lucky and fell into Blink-182, and that's the best thing that ever happened to him. So, Good Charlotte for me. Tom, what do you think?
This one was tough. Personally more of a Alkaline Trio fan. I kind of lean towards thinking Good Charlotte does fit the pop punk genre a little better, but this one was tough. But I got to go Alkaline Trio. I'm a real big fan of those guys, so that's my pick.
I'm gonna go with Little Man on this. For me, it's Good Charlotte. I've always been a big Good Charlotte fan. Goes back all the way to Madden 2002 with the anthem on it. But I like Alkaline Trio. This is a good matchup, two quality bands. And this is where, again, what I said earlier, like this is where it kind of got fun for me. It's like each bracket has a pretty tough matchup where I could, I enjoy both bands. But for me, just Good Charlotte has more hits, better songs in my opinion, and just did it for a longer time. So it kind of checks all the boxes. So I like Good Charlotte in this matchup.
Yeah, respect to Alkaline Trio. Admittedly, I got to listen to them more. I haven't listened to a ton of their albums through and through. They've actually been making music for a long time. And I like Matt Skiba. I actually enjoy what he does with Blink-182 since he joined them for the last couple albums. He's definitely different than Tom DeLonge, but I don't think it's necessarily a bad different. But for me, I'm going with Good Charlotte as well. I think they're more classic pop punk. And in the early days, they were very even mainstream. The anthem was all over the place. Boys Like Girls. They had festival song before that. They're still making music, I guess, these days. They don't look great, to be honest with you. When I've seen pictures of them on the internet,
they haven't aged well.
Like blew up or something, and whatever Joe Madden.
The Twins.
The Twins, yeah. They don't look like fat with a goatee. I'm sorry if you're listening to this, Good Charlotte. I'm sure you're not, but you don't look great.
If you are, though, we will sponsor you. We'll take your sponsorship and wear head-to-toe Good Charlotte gear. So if you are listening,
whole episode and say nothing but good things about you.
No, but they think to me they are better than Alkaline Trio. I've enjoyed their music more, but I do have to listen to more Alkaline Trio.
Check out From Here to Infirmary. That's my recommended album. But fair. I won't push back against the decision.
You're not gonna scream at us like Matthew?
No, that was a fit of rage.
Went to high school when I did. You would understand.
Oh my God! Because 2006 was so much different than 2005 for the three of us who graduated in 05. It was night and day difference.
All right.
Yeah, these matchups are just really good. We got to move on to our 6-3 here. We got the 6th seed starting line going against 3 seed Sum 41.
I will say, so for the last 2 matchups, I like all these bands. I like songs from all these bands, but I think like the starting line, whenever I hear the starting line, it's like, tell me what you think about when you were matched up with Sum 41. It's like, you're screwed. Like, sorry. They had that great song. And I also really like Bedroom Talk. I thought that was like, a good representation of, the young sort of in love feeling, whatever. 2 good songs, but Sum 41 I think might be one of the most underrated bands in this bracket, like period. So Sum 41 for me. Kevin, what do you think?
I agree with you. I enjoy the starting line. The Best of Me is one of not only one of my favorite pop punk songs, my favorite songs of all time. But they just had a crappy matchup. And Sum 41, to me, I'll agree with you, Matthew. They could be a 2 or a 1 seed in my opinion, and they're a machine. Again, the starting line, if they were going against MCR, Matthew, I would have picked the starting line. So this isn't, like I said, with the Simple Plan yellow card matchup, similar, where I enjoy both bands. Both bands are probably in the top 16 for me in this bracket, but because the matchup, Sum 41 in the landslide. But anyone who hasn't listened to the Best of Me recently or at all, do yourself a favor. It is high quality.
Tom.
So yeah, admittedly I don't know a whole lot of the starting line. I checked some of their stuff out, recognized a few songs, but I don't think it would matter. Sum 41, such a good band, so many hits, takes me back. American Pie, just so many classic hits, man, and such a good band. Still to this day, they sound great. Style's gone a few different directions, but they're just a solid band. Sum 41.
Do you remember seeing Starting Line at Warped Tour like 2007? We were in college and we felt.
You weren't in high school. You weren't in high school, Jeremy.
Doesn't count.
Doesn't count.
I remember it was
Not specifically that.
because they had let's see, what year was it? 2002 was their album Say It Like You Mean It. They had The Best of Me, Up and Go and Leaving. I really enjoyed them. I thought that they were pretty popular. And then this was like 2007, like 5 years later, they were like an opening act, like a 12:30 bright sun shining in your face. Like no one's had a chance to drink alcohol or smoke weed much. Like a 30-minute set, burning hot at, Tinley. So I thought that they kind of fell out of grace a lot, even in those 5 years. They followed up that 2002 album with 2005 based on a true story. That really the only hit from that one was Bedroom Talk that Matthew talked about. They did have a 2007 album, Direction, that had a song Island that had got some recognition, but they really, after their first album, never really kind of was able to keep it up. Versus Sum 41, they've had several albums. Their first one, All Killer No Thriller. Well, I mean, that had Fat Lip, In Too Deep. Like that was awesome.
Yeah,
that whole album.
They were able to follow it up with their next one had Hell Song.
Does This Look Infected?
Does This Look Infected?
Yeah.
Hell Song, and I'm blanking on the other ones it had, but then it had
We'll talk about Sum 41 a lot more. Wink.
So it's clean sweep. Sum 41, just too much firepower for Starting Line. I think they may have kept it close early, but Sum 41 blows them out in the end. So let's round it out our South bracket with number 7, Cartel, going against number 2, Jimmy Eat World.
Yeah. So it's like, honestly, say anything else, that's it. Jimmy Eat World. They were so much bigger, so much better, so much just, I don't know, more culturally relevant. Jimmy Eat World. Tom, what do you think?
Right there with you, man. Big Jimmy Eat World fan. It's easy. It's an easy one for me. Jeremy?
We got to go to Kevin. I'll round us off.
Jesus. Yeah, screw Kevin. God. Exciting to go to high school in 06, guys. But I'm with both of you. Sorry, Cartel, but Jimmy Eat World in the landslide. And of all the matchups for the Sweet 16, Sum 41 versus Jimmy Eat World is going to be a lot of fun to discuss. So that's all. A little tease for the fans next week, but Jimmy Eat World in the landslide.
I'm probably the biggest Cartel fan in this cohort, and I would not pick them over Jimmy Eat World overall, but it's a lot closer to me than I think what you guys think. I really enjoyed the 2005 album Chroma with Say Anything, and honestly, their subtitle had a few hits with Lose It, Wasted, and Fortunate. In 2009 Cycles, I even enjoyed with Faster Ride and The Perfect Mistake. I think Cartel is an underrated band in my opinion. I think they unfortunately kind of peaked at their popularity in a time when pop punk overall was falling down. They came out in like 2005, and that was kind of like when pop punk was starting to decline. So I don't think they got a lot of recognition. If they would have came out in 2001 where all these other bands were getting popular and that sound was more in the general public, I think they would have gotten a lot bigger. But Jimmy Eat World, I agree with you guys. I think they'll win this matchup. So let's move on to the East bracket, where Kevin is going to take us through the 1-8 matchup with Green Day going against Reliant K.
As I said in the last episode, I'm a big Reliant K fan. That being said, I had to go with Green Day here. Just a bigger band, bigger hits. Just when I think of pop punk, they're one of the earlier bands. Obviously, they were doing it in the 90s. This is a 2000s discussion, but just overall, just top to bottom, just again, big Reliant K fan for those who haven't listened or have, but it's been a while. Bust them out, very consistent, good sound. But Green Day for me.
Matthew had a good story about Reliant K last episode.
Yeah, that was nice. That was nice for all the families listening.
Is it about the Christian girl I was trying to?
Yes. Moving on, Matthew. Yes.
She's a nice lady.
Is that enough for you for you to pick Reliant K over Green Day? Did she persuade you? Green Day did swear a lot.
Obviously, it's Green Day. I mean, I will say 2004 when American Idiot came out, it was like, it was more than music. It was like a cultural stamp. You know, when that album came out, they came out and they did the Saints Are Coming. When they did that with U2 after Katrina, and the Saints when they came out and they were really good at football for those couple of years and they won a Super Bowl or whatever. The Bears beat them, but after that they won a Super Bowl. Anyway, Green Day, yes, wins, but Reliant K is also a very good band. So I echo everything Kevin says. Listen to them. Tom, what do you think?
Yeah, I echo all you guys, man. Reliant K, respect, but Green Day, just so many hits. I mean, they released the Greatest Hits album in 2001, International Super Hits, which was full of just. I mean, I listen to that front to back, and I love it. And they're just such a powerhouse, still to this day. They look the same fucking age now that they did in 2001, and Billy Joe kills it. Incredible live show, stage presence is phenomenal, and it's Green Day. It's an easy one.
Isn't Billy Joe? He's released like a cover, right, of an '80s song recently.
I
think We're Alone Now. Pretty good.
Yeah, actually, yeah. I think I saw him playing that with like his two sons, like they were playing in quarantine.
We're what, like 25?
They look the same age. What's funny is they're all three playing together, and Billy Joe he does not look older than them. It's wild. He's a fucking vampire.
A fun game of Jeremy Talks. Guess how old Billy Joel Osment is. I'm gonna put the over under at 5.
45?
Yeah.
Billy Joe.
I'm gonna go with under.
He's over. I think they're pushing 50.
No.
Which is insane because he looks 30.
Ooh, I'm going to go over 45, but I might be wrong.
Well, damn it, Matthew.
Matthew will look it up, and I will just... Tommy made a great point that in 2001, Green Day had a Greatest Hits album. That's incredible. And then, everyone, I think, thought that they were kind of done. They had their moment in the mid to late 90s. Dookie in 94 just kind of...
48.
The pop punk movement, and going. It was awesome, and then they made some hits after that. Then kind of slowly teetered off. You remember when we saw them, Tom? They opened for Blink-182 in like the early 2000s before American Idiot.
Yeah,
that was probably like the low point of their career, and then they released American Idiot, and they were like back on top again. Which
that definitely launched them up there. That was a big.
That was huge, and so even if you want to take away their '90s stuff, which is, in my opinion, probably their best music still,
I agree with that.
Idiot was awesome, and they're too much of a powerhouse to. No offense to Reliant K, I think, thanks for playing Reliant K, but Green Day is just too powerful for you.
Yep.
The next matchup features a 12 seed that snuck by an ugly game last week. Don't know if I'm pronouncing their name right. Silencing. Going against the Paramore.
My apologies first and foremost to the members and fans of Marwood's Fall. Last week I pronounced the band Marwood Falls. It's Marwood's Fall. And they're still better than Seosin and Under Oath, in my opinion. Seosin got lucky with their matchup. They're probably the worst it's bad to say. They're my least favorite band of the remainder of the round of 32. Paramore in a landslide. 35-point victory. Pull the starters with 10 minutes to go in the second half. And I'm not even the biggest Paramore fan, but Paramore in a landslide. Not even close. I believe Seosin means careful in Chinese. Well, careful, get the hell out of my bracket. Be careful.
I don't even want to say anything about this band.
I mean, Seosin, it's like, careful, don't jump over the bridge. That's all I could say. That's why they won their last one. And, Paramore, like, Haley, she's all right looking. I like her, So, like, I'd rather look for her than a lead singer of Seosin.
First off, the delivery was so creepy. She's all right. Looking.
We're doing this live.
Oh gosh. Sharky, any comments?
Oh man, it's not a beauty contest, but I will agree. Paramore, I don't have a lot to say on this one, but
Good riddance. Good riddance. I mean, I wish both of these bands could have lost last week, but someone had to win. So let's move on so we could actually talk about bands with people that I've actually listened to. And some of these bands I haven't listened to, like we talked about last week, were actually better than I thought, and like I enjoyed them and started listening to them more. Southland is a band that I listened to and I still would never listen to. So sorry if there's some fans of them that ever listen to this, but not on this panel. So, all right. So let's move on to a little bit of a better matchup here with the 11-seed Story of the Year squeaking by Midtown last week in a close game, going against Newfound Glory.
For me, Newfound Glory, similar to Sum 41. Their seeding makes no sense to me. Story of the Year, even though I was overruled last week, that matchup I was torn on. I actually enjoyed listening to Midtown, and I actually do enjoy Story of the Year. But Newfound Glory for me in a complete landslide, and that's not really anti-Story of the Year. It's just I'm that pro Newfound Glory. I just think that, pop punk for our high school years, you can make the argument that the discussion needs to begin with Newfound Glory. I'm talking, 04, 05, those years, they were the bee's knees. So Newfound Glory for me in a landslide. Sharky, your thoughts? Oh,
Matthew's got something to say.
go ahead, Matthew. Go ahead.
The statement, it starts there.
I said you can make you can have, oh my gosh.
They had like 3 good singles, which were excellent singles. I'll say that. First of all, I said Newfound Glory, okay? But to say that it starts in 04, 05 with Newfound Glory.
Oh my gosh.
I think,
here we go.
if anything, they were a little bit of a copycat of what came before, which is a copycat, but a little bit of a copycat. But Newfound Glory. Tom?
Yeah, I'm very pro Newfound Glory. I love these guys. Pop punk, definitely way up there, and they're just a rocking band. Their sound is just very. It's hard not to get into it. But yeah, that was an easy one.
Newfound Glory had way more than a couple 3 singles in 2004. My Friends Over You, I believe, was 2001 or 2. Then you have Head On Collision. You have before that, Have I Waited Too Long? I'm blanking on the name of that song. But that was even before that. Like, they've been doing it for so long.
Well, hold on. Matthew, maybe I should have worded it better. Sticks and Stones came out in 2002, and that had Understatement, My Friends Over You, and Head On Collision.
Correct.
And that is a great. Now, those are just the 3 best songs in that album. There are more other good songs in that album. My point is, if the year 2004, if you were asked 17-year-old Kevin Burns, who is right now, like in your adolescent years, one of the best pop punk band, you can make an argument that Newfound Glory, between that and Catalyst, Sticks and Stones and Catalyst, those 2 albums are fantastic. And they were both before I graduated high school. You were in high school in 2006, so I don't know what happened. Newfound Glory, and I wasn't in high school, but pre-05, so 05, 04, 03, 02, Newfound Glory was very good. They were not just 3 excellent songs. A little better than that, little man.
Hey, if there was an American Pie 3, I think Newfound Glory would have been, like top track on that
You do realize they had a song in American Pie too, correct?
Yeah, but it wasn't a top track.
No, okay.
There was American Pie 3. It was American Wedding, and I would have to look up their soundtrack, but
this argument, all because I didn't pick AFI over, all because I didn't pick a wedding band over MCR. Jeez and Louise. Yeah. Go ahead, Jeremy. Back to you.
I went to both of your weddings. I didn't hear My Chemical Romance playing.
By the way, Matthew.
Your AFI either.
By the way, Matthew, New Found Glory did have a single on American Wedding's soundtrack.
What was it?
Forget Everything.
There you go.
Never heard of it.
Way to do your homework and listen to the bands, big guy.
I'm just saying, New Found Glory had like 3 good singles. That's it.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
Wow. Okay, Jeremy, finish up the sweep. Finish up the sweep.
Like 2 others. That's it.
Okay, well, how many did Story of the Year have? I would argue 2 songs I really enjoy of Story of the Year. Page Avenue, I enjoyed their album. Nothing really after that. Until the Day I Die. That was their best song by far. But they're not gonna. Yeah, this is a blowout. And wow, I can't wait for future matchups. New Found Glory.
I love it.
Oh,
getting my blood pressure up, my old age.
All right, now let's round out this bracket. Do we have an upset with number 7, Something Corporate, going up against number 2, Taking Back Sunday?
Yes, we do. My personal opinion. Look, I love Q without the E as much as the next person does, but I'm very, 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 very biased towards Something Corporate, and to me, one of the best pop punk albums is going to be Leaving Through Your Window. It's just an unbelievable album. You know, woke up in a car on top of Hurricane, Pop Princess, See You Jordan. It's one of the easiest albums I can listen. I've listened to that album every year. I've never outgrown or not been in the mood for that album. So I enjoy Taking Back Sunday. This is not really an anti-Taking Back Sunday statement. It's just, in my opinion, Something Corporate's probably my second favorite band in this bracket, in this part of the bracket, in my region. So I would go with Something Corporate here in an upset.
I think we may have some disagreement. Let's see.
Sharky, I want to go to you first. I'm sick of Matthew right now. I need a 10-second break.
You guys are fighting. I'm going Taking Back Sunday on this one. More of a personal thing. I mean, I've seen them live a couple times, and I'm a real big fan. They've put on a great show. They got a lot of great songs. Something Corporate, I like them, man. They're cool. They got some of the piano stuff going on, a little more different. But I've always been a pretty big Taking Back Sunday fan. So that's who I'm going with. What do you got, Matthew?
I'm going to shock the world here and agree with Kevin.
Whoa.
Something Corporate for me. Taking Back Sunday, they make damn sure, and, so the same kids in high school that like My Chemical Romance also like Taking Back Sunday. And
that's true.
Something Corporate, which is much more fun and much more lively. And Hurricane, I think, is one of my, if I had to put a top 100 songs that I like, it's one. So for me, Something Corporate absolutely wins it for me. Jeremy, what do you think?
I'll go with Something Corporate as well. The only thing that kind of sucks is I wish Something Corporate could be blended together with Jack's Mannequin and then Andrew McMahon solo stuff. Like if that was one entity, there would be a real shot. Something Corporate didn't last that long. Taking Back Sunday, I don't know if they've lasted that long either, to be honest with you, because I was never a huge Taking Back Sunday fan. Probably the highlight for me of Taking Back Sunday was our buddy Matt's wedding, who's in Marwood's Fall. I was not having a great time at that wedding because the DJ was not very good, and he was playing very poppy songs I wasn't into. And then he played The Wobble, followed by Taking Back Sunday at some point, and I got really into it. That was probably the most fun I've ever had listening to Taking Back Sunday.
What song was that from Taking Back Sunday?
I think it was Without the E.
Yeah.
That wasn't like one of the best wedding bro moments because it was the three of us on the dance floor with Lucky Charms, with Corey, Craig. Yeah, that was a good great pop punk bro moment. But yeah, there was about 8 or 9 of us total on the dance floor going nuts. But yeah, that was it's a great song. But And before we move on to your bracket, Jeremy, American Pie 2 was on the other night. I stand by this. The greatest soundtrack and songs in a movie in the history of movies is American Pie 2. The soundtrack, in addition to the songs played in the movie that are not in the soundtrack. So, Fat Lip, In Too Deep, Hash Pipe by Weezer, Michelle Branch, Everywhere, Offspring, Want You Bad. You add that with what's on the soundtrack, hands down, the best. So just want to throw that out there.
I agree with you. Amazing.
Yep.
All right. We got 4 more matchups, and then the round of 32 will be done here. So my bracket, the Midwest bracket, number 1, Fall Out Boy. Going to number 8, Say Anything. This is easy. This is Fall Out Boy all the way. Say Anything. Thanks for playing. You had like one good CD with a couple singles. Fall Out Boy, I've listened to pretty much almost all their CDs front to back until the latest ones, and I enjoyed pretty much all of them. Probably the early stuff is probably the stuff I enjoy the most, but they are still making music that's decent today, and they were a staple for pop punk for me. No chance for Say Anything.
If I could say anything, it would be Fall Out Boy in a landslide.
Craziest thing I've ever seen, I think, in a concert was Fall Out Boy opening for somebody. And they opened for Blink-182, and it was one of the best concerts of my life. Fall Out Boy.
Yeah, that's an easy one, man. You said it well. It's such a staple in pop punk. It takes me back, man, from Under the Cork Tree. Such a good album, and it's just too much of a powerhouse. So Say Anything. Thanks for coming, but that was an easy one.
I mean, Pete Wentz boned Jessica Simpson's sister.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Say.
That's enough to beat Say Anything. Moving on, folks, to the 4-5 matchup.
Oh, this is kind of a tough one for me. Oof. I'm gonna end up going just because over the years I've kind of had a spite for Ataris just because of how much I've appreciated Don Henley and the Eagles. And when he came out and like basically said that all the Ataris had was his cover of their song and that's it, I look back at it and he's absolutely right. Like, you take away their cover of Boys of Summer, they're pretty trash band. I'm also not a huge Mayday Parade, but I started listening to them more when I was doing this bracket, and I find myself listening to them more. They're decent. You know, they're still not going to be my favorite band in the world, but it's just more the fact that I just don't really have that much respect for the Ataris anymore because you covered someone's song, you did it well, but you didn't really make any of your own music, and if you did, it wasn't that good. So that's why I
reseeded this bracket. You reseeded this bracket for your taste.
No, I did. I reseeded it based on popularity of their hit songs.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. I will judge music based upon how good it is, how it makes me feel. Like Kid Rock, All Summer Long. I love that song. I know it's a total ripoff. I know it's a total sample. But yeah, Mayday Parade? Nah. I disagree here. But I don't know. Tom, what do you think?
We may be getting an upset or an overrule here.
This one's tough because I agree with you, Jeremy. Like, I originally I went with the Ataris just because I know them a little bit better, but I never really loved them either. And yeah, I kind of agree. You know, they made their career on someone else's song. I wish I had a stronger feeling on this one, but fuck, man, I honestly don't even. I'm on the fence.
You got to pick one, Tom. You had all week.
I know.
I didn't surprise you with this matchup.
I made my pick, but now I'm like second guessing it and shit. It's ours. Just keep it. I'll go with my.
Wow, so the pressure's on me. Well, as one of the 35 people who saw the Atari live in 2003.
2003?
Yeah, I saw it in 2003.
Wow.
You know, that was during the time when Newfound Glory had like one song out only. You know, they were okay.
I get it. My friends over you, okay? They're over you too.
Yeah. No, your friends have always been over me. I mean, that's 30. I'm 30. You're 30 years old. That's what happened my whole life. Anyway, this isn't a family psychiatry session. This is a tough matchup for 4-5. I'm not, again, boys aside. My rule is usually I go with the best song between the two bands. So because of that, I love you, Jeremy, but I got to agree with Matthew. I picked Ataris, but I don't think they're one of the top 16 bands left. In all honesty, I wish we could substitute Lucky Boys in for them. That'd be my real vote, but we can't. The bracket's the bracket. I'm going to go with Ataris.
It's funny, yeah, because I didn't really like Mayday Parade, but I started listening to them more, and now they're like kind of catchy in my head. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just they do have a classic pop punk song. They kind of hit their stride when pop punk was declining too. So maybe that's why they didn't get a lot of recognition. But check them out. I'm not upset about the sweep. I thought I would maybe get overruled on that one, but that was a tough matchup. So I think. I don't know, but I think they're in trouble against Fall Out Boy next week. That's all I got to say. So,
I don't know much.
Spoiler alert: them and Angola are in trouble. Yeah, for sure.
All right, so we got an 11-3 matchup here with Forever the Sickest Kids taking against number 3 All Time Low. All Time Low being a 3 seed. Wow. They should. I mean, are there really 8 bands better than All Time Low in this bracket? I'm not sure. So. This is easy. I mean, there's going to be very few bands that can give all-time low competition for me. I'm a huge all-time low fan. I was a huge fan of theirs and the early stuff before they became kind of even more popular. And they just keep producing records, and they're all good, in my opinion. Their sound hasn't changed a ton. They've tried different things over the years a little bit with their album with Dirty Laundry was kind of more of a poppy conceptual thing, but most of their stuff is kind of this classic pop punk sound, and it's all catchy. It's all good. They're consistent. They've made tons of music. I enjoy Forever the Sickest Kids, but not nearly as much as I enjoy All Time Low.
I agree. And Matthew, do you know where All Time Low got their name from for their band?
Is it Newfound Glory?
A lyric from a Newfound Glory song. So they were one of the 7 people in the world who listened to one of their 3 good songs. Yeah, Jerry, I agree with you. Always been an all-time low fan. Not even close. And again, kind of what, not to piggyback what we talked about last week, the 3 seeds in this overall bracket, Sum 41, Newfound Glory, and their 3 songs, and All-Time Low. Definitely some tough matchups as we continue to move forward. But yeah, All-Time Low in a absolute rout.
Yeah, Kevin, I'll say this. Michael Jordan saw that Magic Johnson had won 2 championships in a row, and he said, F that, I'm getting 3. So, yeah, who cares who inspires you? All-time low, boom, better.
So
all-time low is Michael Jordan in this bracket, in your opinion?
And Newfound Glory is Magic Johnson, minus the HIV?
In your example, the greatest point guard I've ever played the game, Magic Johnson, is what Newfound Glory is. So that's a little better than 3 good games or 3 big songs.
I think you guys take that holistically,
What, Matthew, do you have any actual musical comments on this matchup? Or just going to chirp at me?
Oh, all-time low. Tom, what do you got?
I got all-time low as well, man. I didn't know Forever the Sickest Kids at all, but I actually did enjoy listening to them and checking them out. But yeah, all-time low. For some reason, I always think of New Low, that song by Middle Class Rut, whenever I think of this band. Not related at all, but
not related at all. Very different sound.
Very, very different. Just the low, same word. But yeah, I agree. All-time low. Middle Class Rut, whatever.
So we'll move on to our 7-2 matchup to conclude our night here. We have Motion City Soundtrack going against the All-American Rejects. I am taking the All-American Rejects. They were early on one of my favorite bands growing up with Swing Swing, and then they followed that up. I wanted blanking on the Dirty Little Secret. That album. Very strong. Their stuff after that I haven't really enjoyed as much. Kind of like a theme, like a lot of these bands. I think they start out strong and then they kind of fade. Also, All American Rejects was able to at least have more than one good album. Motion City soundtrack, I can't tell you more than a couple of their good songs. Let's Get Fucked Up and Die, and then Tell Me Everything and All Right are very good songs. After that, it kind of the wheels fall off the bus for me, and I think All American Rejects kind of cruises to a victory, to a very tough matchup against All Time Low.
Agree with you. All American Rejects. Big fan. Yeah. And it's going to be a great matchup next week against All Time Low. It's going to be a really good 2-3 matchup.
No, it won't. Rejects had one good album, and then they sold out. No, it won't. But anyway, I'm all American Rejects.
All American Rejects. Yeah, I got the same right there with you.
I mean, why should we do this anymore, Matthew? I mean, you already have the winner picked out for all of us. Why we should just stop doing the bracket now and just have Matthew crown the champion because he actually listens to music. Because he was in high school in 06, guys.
Yeah.
Because it's a 2000s pop punk, which means 2000, 2001, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those don't count. Just 2006 high school, guys. Jesus, Mary and Joseph.
All right, boys. Well, this was a lot of fun. If we have listeners left, please hit like and subscribe. I'm really excited to kind of finish this out over the next couple of weeks here. I think just looking at our Sweet 16 here, I mean, there's not a lot of bad bands left, and by not a lot, I mean there's no bad bands left, in my opinion.
MCR's left, Jeremy. God.
MCR, obviously. They got a tough matchup against Good Charlotte. We're gonna get some argument there. But stay tuned and let's crown a championship over the next couple of weeks. Hit like and subscribe. Any final thoughts before we sign off here, boys?
I do love you all.
I love you all very much, especially my little brother Matthew. I love him more than life itself. But he's wrong when it comes to Newfound Glory.
All right, I love and miss you all, and I love our listeners. So hope to catch you next time.
Happy
Later,
Memorial
boys.
Day.